The scrappage scheme has been what the government may call a success so far, but who is it a success for? Because I'm damn sure that it really isn't a boon for the common people. According to scrappage.org, at this date sometime in September, 240,000 cars have already been sent to car heaven for the purposes of environmental good and the promise of a shiny new chunk of plastic, so people are going for this scheme, which is somewhat flawed in its intention. So, is scrapping a car good for our planet? Answer, no, it bloody isn't. The manufacturing of a car will cause approximately 80% of the pollution that the car will ever put out, so the average car will add another 20% of chemicals or so over the course of its useful life. Why then does it make sense to chuck away if the damage has already been done? The truth is it doesn't make sense, but the scheme is an incentive for you to spend your money on something you've already got. Another issue I'd like to point out is the criteria to qualify. In order to get the discount on a new car by scrapping the old one has to have MOT, has to be insured and needs to be taxed. In other words, what they're talking about here isn't old bangers, but roadworthy cars that aren't at the end of their useful life. A 10-year-old car, if looked after, will be almost as clean as a new one, and the same is said for the economy figures too. Take a look at a 10-year-old car. Often it'll be free of rust, free of electrical glitches and perfectly reliable. So what the hell is the point in throwing it away? Throwing things away is what causes environmental damage. Why haven't people noticed this? The truth is, scrapping cars is not about saving our planet. It's about spending money. It's about filling the Chancellor's pouch, keeping the money cycle on an endless voyage to stamp out the less fortunate. You'd think that you were saving money by getting a discount on a new car, which is wrong again. You buy a new car and the discount you will gain will be swallowed up by depreciation by the time you've driven it home. You want a car because you want reliability, even though a 10-year-old motor will still be as trusty but with cheaper servicing bills. Imagine if it was time for a change. If your car was the relevant proof of roadworthiness, then you could sell it. You may even get £500 in your pocket for a deposit on a new motor that's only like 1 year old that somebody else has already coughed up thousands in depreciation for. So the green issues is just a smokescreen, and people are buying it, causing more damage by believing it, and then looking down their stupid noses at the savvy types in their old cars like a bunch of misinformed infants with peanuts clogging up their neurological passages. Another thing that's not quite as good as you'd think are catalytic converters. Catalytic converters were first introduced in the early 80s to cut down on hydrocarbon gases and carbon monoxide, but they only work effectively if looked after, and work best around 40 to 60 miles per hour. However, the side effect is ammonia being spewed into the air, extra fuel consumption, and the issue of how they're made in the first place. The US Environmental Protection Agency has stated that catalytic converters are a significant and growing cause of global warming due to their release of nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas which is over 300 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Catalytic converter production also requires precious metals, either platinum or palladium or sometimes both. The mining and manufacturing of these components have turned the Russian city of Norilsk to become one of the most polluted cities in the world, and that isn't because people drive a lot there. Also, in Britain, road tax laws mean you get a break for having a small car, but a kick in the bollocks for driving something you've already paid a lot of money for. For example, the Peugeot 107 will cost £35 a year on road tax, but something like a Land Rover will cost £400. A small car may use a little bit less fuel, but we're talking about 11 times more tax for the big car. This is simply government robbery, backed up by pen pushers who have no idea what they're talking about. It's supposed to create an incentive to drive a small chuck-away plastic shopping trolley that destroys the environment by virtue of mere existence, when really it's just another excuse to grab more money and claim that your children will one day thank you for it from their iron lung. One last thing, owners of the Toyota Prius can get off their high horses and realise that they really are the brunt of a cruel practical joke. This hybrid car is the worst offender of all, having a huge amount of nickel batteries stored away under the car carries a lot of weight, masses of pollution in manufacturing, and a special kind of thoughtlessness to ignore the disposal process. And what is charging these batteries? A petrol engine that uses loads of fuel because it's so under stress. They say that town driving is where the engine isn't even running, but in order to keep the batteries from dying, the engine must charge once you pick up some speed. So in a long run, it uses about twice the amount of fuel as a modern diesel, and about 15 miles per gallon more than a petrol engine that's like 15 years old. Peace.